It's Transformers96 here with a comparison video between the Star Wars Black Series and Star Wars Elite Series. So this is just a video that I'm going to make because the Black Series has been the basic collector series for Star Wars movies, figures, for a couple of years now. But there is a new player in the game that's a Disney Store exclusive, the Elite Series, which does make figures for adult collectors that can rival the Black Series. So I felt it was worth talking about to really just show people the differences between them and why you might consider start collecting the Elite Series over the Black Series, maybe, depending on your preference. So overall, the only figure that I have from both series that are the same character is Kylo Ren. As you can see, I also have Darth Maul, but the Darth Maul from the Elite Series I haven't opened yet. I went and I did the whole lottery thing and I won a chance to buy the Darth Maul figure from the Disney Store, so I bought that one, and then they also put them online, so I did also buy another one online, which will be here in a couple of days or maybe a week, and that one, when I get it in, I will take it out of package, so you will get a review of Darth Maul, and you can see a little bit closer comparison between that one and the Black Series one. But because I don't have them out of package, I really can't compare them other than just their looks. But the Kylo Ren I do have out of package for both Black Series and the Elite Series. So overall, they're figures that are, they're in slightly different scales. The Black Series is in a 6-inch scale, while the Elite Series is more in a 7-inch scale, and the articulation is different, even their paint apps and sculpting are slightly different as well. As far as just the actual sculpt, I think that both companies do a great job. I really can't say that one does it better than other. I'll say with the Kylo Ren though, the detailing on the lightsabers is slightly better with the Elite Series, as well as it's really hard to judge this, but the detail, let's see here, if you look at the detail, still they did a terrific job texturing on the back here. As you can see a lot of little fine detailing with the texture. And then on the Elite Series, they've done just as well. I mean, they've done terrific detailing there. So it's really, the detail I would say is about even on them. I really can't find any clear examples where one did a far better detailing job on one area of the figure. I think that they both have done terrific jobs sculpting and with detail work on both of them. As far as paint apps go, the paint apps seem to be really good. Now, the only human-faced Elite Series figure that I have at the moment, or somewhat human, is Darth Maul. And from what I can see, it looks wonderfully detailed. The paint looks terrifically done. Nothing's out of whack or whatnot. I don't have Rey or Finn, so possibly on a human figure, it may not look as good as the Black Series. But as far as on Darth Maul, it looks fantastic with the Elite Series, and the Black Series does it just as well. They have a wonderful detailing on the faces and everything like that. When we go to paint in general, I think that both companies do a really good job of not having paint splotches everywhere or things like that. They seem to be quite organized with where the paint is, and they don't seem to be making too many mistakes in that area. As far as just the paint in general, I think is really nice on both of them. Like on the Kylo Ren, as you can see, there's a lot of good paint on his outfit. He's got kind of a light black as the base color, and then there's this really lighter, maybe even creamy white, silver almost, that is kind of brushed in and splashed on to give him a more realistic and natural look. Almost looks like he's been in the snow, actually. So they've done a really nice job with that. I will say that the black paint, the Black Series does seem to do it in a darker shade, while the Elite Series does tend to stick with a more lighter black. You can see that with Kylo Ren a bit there, but you can also really see it with the Darth Maul. The Darth Maul, they've done a dark black on both of them, but the black seems to be a bit more darker on the Black Series one as compared to the Elite Series. But both of them look really nice, and on the gloves on the Elite Series it is very dark, while the actual just his costume there, his quote-unquote fabric, is more of a lighter black. Articulation is a big thing as well. Obviously, the Black Series has far better articulation, but that's not to say that the Elite Series doesn't have good articulation. Elite Series has a pretty good articulation. The differences would be the Black Series has on most of their figures seems to have a hinge on their neck, while the Elite Series just uses ball joints. But that ball joint can still allow them to look up and down. Just with the figures from the Black Series that have a hinge, it's slightly more for them. The Elite Series uses swivel at the waist, while the Black Series uses a ball jointed upper torso, so you're going to get slightly more movement there. The Elite Series also uses a swivel at the elbow, as opposed to, the Black Series also uses a swivel at the elbow, as opposed to the Elite Series, which just uses a hinge. On the wrist, the Elite Series just uses a swivel, while the Black Series also uses a hinge swivel. The thighs are just about the same. You do have a thigh swivel with the Black Series, but it's just about as good as the ball joint that we get for the thighs on the Elite Series, so nothing too special there. The Black Series typically has double hinge knees as opposed to the just single hinge of the Elite Series, and then the Black Series has an ankle pivot. As far as with the Elite Series, they seem to just have hinge swivel. Although I don't have Darth Maul out of package, obviously, but for the Elite Series, but apparently he does have a bit of a hinge or a pivot in the ankle, so the articulation might vary from figure to figure. So we do have slightly better ankle articulation on that Darth Maul as opposed to Kylo Ren, the Flame Trooper, and Captain Phasma from the Elite Series. And also the hinges, like the single hinge knee and the single hinge elbows of the Elite Series, are still done really well. Like the hinges on say the Stormtrooper here, as you can see, his hinge that's as far as it goes, so it gets less than a 90-degree angle there. While on the Elite Series figures, their hinges do a complete 90 degrees, at least. So their hinges, even though it's just single hinge, they do have a larger range of movement, as well as the hinge on their knees is also a very nicely done one that does move at least 90 degrees, so you do still get a really nice amount of articulation on the Elite Series, although it is less than the Black Series in general. And then the final difference between the two is that one uses plastic and one uses metal, which is obviously, the fact that the Elite Series does use metal is the drawing point to them. Sorry about that, there was a noise outside that I was worried was making it into the video. But what I'm saying is the diecast, of course, is a huge drawing point and definitely makes them feel a lot better quality as opposed to the Black Series, just because they obviously weigh so much more and they are made out of a unique material that's usually not used to make toys from. So that is also another big drawing factor, as well as, metal is usually used or diecast for things that are not articulated, like ships or small figurines, just to get a representation of those characters without any articulation. So it is quite special to see metal figures that are fully articulated. That is quite unique. So that's very special as well. And then the difference in price is $5. The Elite Series figures are $5 more expensive than the Black Series. They're bigger and they use metal. Now, of course, they have less articulation, but that is really the only drawback between the Elite Series to the Black Series. The Elite Series is better because they're slightly bigger and have metal, but don't have as much articulation. So overall, I think that you get more for your money with the Elite Series. They just, obviously the metal, I would have expected the Elite Series to be at least like $35 a figure, and especially since it's a Disney Store exclusive, Disney Store seems to always overcharge for things, so I would have expected $40 or $45 then. So it is very surprising that they are only $25, so I think that you get more for your money with the Elite Series. However, it depends on how big of a how much you value articulation. The Black Series uses wonderful articulation and can really get you dynamic poses, where the Elite Series can get you awesome stances and some, fair poses, but nothing super dynamic. So the dynamic posing is a big draw for me to get Black Series. I'm going to personally collect both lines. I enjoy them both for separate reasons. I like the Elite Series just for nice, somewhat statue-like figures that are made of diecast. I mean, that's just so cool to me, while the Black Series is so much fun to do crazy poses with and really, even Hot Toys won't have as good of articulation as the Black Series do. So it's the line to get if you want to do dynamic poses, so which I really do value. And overall, I'm very excited for the continuation of the Black Series and Elite Series. I will collect them all still. Although the Elite Series is a little harder to get in some cases. They do now. Every 2 weeks, starting with Darth Maul, which has already come out, the Elite Series is going to release another figure that represents one of the movies from the 7 Star Wars movies. The next one will be Anakin from Attack of the Clones, and you know, to get it in stores, you have to go to Disney Store between 12 and 1, put your name in a drawing to get them, and then if your name is called, then you're able to buy him. It's not like you get them for free or anything. So it is such a pain to do it that way, especially since I have a class on Mondays between 12 and 1, so I had to skip it just to get Darth Maul. But you know, I can't keep skipping my class, so I really it's such a pain for me. You know, I wish it was like on a Tuesday or something where I could do it. So I'm probably not going to do it again. And but luckily, the day after the figure is released, at least in the case of Darth Maul, they did release it online, and he hasn't sold out yet as of making this. I'm making this on Thursday midday, so he hasn't sold out yet, which is why I was able to purchase another one of them. So I think that I'm going to mainly just do my purchasing for the Elite Series online from the Disney Store. Unfortunately, it means you have to pay shipping and you have to wait to get the figure. I would much rather just get them in stores, but they've made it such a pain to get it in the stores. Like, I could easily go there as soon as the Disney Store opens and pick them up if they were just selling them, but instead they have to do this dumb raffle thing, which is, it's kind of fun to be there, be with a bunch of Star Wars collectors who are, you know, excited to get the new figure of the week, basically. It was actually a fun experience, but it is still annoying. I would much rather just go and purchase my figure without having to deal with, you know, getting there at a certain time and hoping that my name is drawn. So yeah, so there you go. Those are the differences between the two series and my opinions on the two series in general. Overall, I enjoy them both, and will collect them both. If I had, it's really up to personal preference whether which one you're gonna like. Personally, I think, like, if somebody told me, you know, you can only collect one of these series and both series are gonna make the exact same characters, then I would probably. It's really hard to say, but I think that I might stick with the Elite Series just because they're unique, you know, Marvel Legends and everything. There's a million different types of 6-inch well-articulated figures out there. You know, I get them all the time. It's nothing special. However, a 7-inch scale die-cast series with good articulation is very hard to come by. It's the first series like that I've ever collected, or had interest in collecting. So because of that, I think I might just stick with the Elite Series if I had to choose one. Luckily, I don't have to, so I'll just gonna keep getting them both because they are both very enjoyable in their own rights. So there you go. That's my comparison between the Black Series and the Elite Series. Let me know your opinion on both of the toy lines, and thanks so much for watching.